And today I want to talk about a new game that I was aware of in a certain genre that I've never really played before, but I'm kind of anxious to. It's called Swords and Planets. And it's kind of, if you've ever read any Burroughs, John Carter, Mars, any Clark Ashton Smith, or anything like that, um, that's what it is. You're on another planet, but it's basically swords and sorcery fighting really, really weird, sometimes eldritch Cthulhu-esque monsters. Um, and it's a combination of like swords, and you've got technology and magic. Well, not so much magic. Usually, magic is evil, but you can change it to suit you. But it's mainly ray guns and swords and things like that. So, and it's kind of thing I wanted to get into. If you want to go the full Robert E. Howard Conan type thing where you don't have the technology and the magic is still evil, you would go with Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea, one game I've been wanting to play. But this is another one I want to play even more. A friend of mine got me onto this, and I got me a copy, a PDF of Warriors of the Red Planet by Al Crombach and Thomas Denmark. Al pretty much did all the editing and wrote the system, and Thomas did the layout and a lot of the gorgeous artwork in there. There's a couple other artists in there, but he did most of the artwork. It's really nice. This is a nice system because it's very, very flexible. Um, it is based. Its own RPG system based on the Swords and Wizardry retro clone, which was, I think, a smart idea because you can do any retro clone, any old school game you want. Really, probably up to really fifth edition if you wanted to. But I would recommend using Swords and Wizardry with it. They do use the Swords and Wizardry thing that I like is they both have ascending and descending armor class. Depending on, you can pick one basically, which is great. And also they got a chart back there of TNO, target number 0, which is Thaco. So all you 2E guys who want to do Thaco with it, you can do Thaco, which is nice. But the character creation is anybody who's played any kind of D&D this will be very, very, very familiar. And it's got a lot of nice crunch to it and a lot of nice atmosphere and feel to it. You don't have any demi-humans, but you do have other races like ancients who are like, they're thousands and thousands of years. Elevated, which is basically animals and creatures who have gained sentience and intelligence. You also have what they call the exotics. Hey, you want mutants? There's some mutants. They even got charts. Regular humans, of course, and the unliving, which are undead or created. They're either undead or they're like golems or homunculuses or whatever you want to call them. The classes, you have your standard fighting men and scoundrels, which they call scoundrels. But instead of wizards, you have mentalists, which is psionics, and scientists. Um, and this is a psionic system I can get behind because it's the main thing. They take the place of wizards, pretty much, with mind games. And what I like about it is in demi-humans and in humans, only 10% of the population is psionic, is mental. Well, I'm mental, but so it's like nobody. Not gonna have a bunch of head cases running around in the party, which is nice. And scientists, me, I love gadgeteers and stuff and all that kind of weird science. And they even, you got like 1 to 6 levels of mental powers and 1 to 6 levels of scientific stuff, which is nice. Now, if you want magic, in the appendix in the back, they got the Sorcerers of the Black Gate, which are evil, and they have lists of spells back there, but they also talk about corruption, have a corruption table. If you throw spells too much, you start, your skin turns green. If I was doing this for like Thundar, doing it like a Thundar game, I would probably not do that except for maybe the bad guys, but wouldn't do that for player characters because, it would be nice if Princess Ariel's throwing some spells and all of a sudden she spouts a third eye. So I would kind of like educate that a little. They've got a bestiary in there of all kinds of Mars interplanetary type creatures. Some familiar, like this big white ape here with 6 arms, or four arms and 2 legs. And it's also got ship-to-ship combat. Check out the ships. Are not those gorgeous? And they're very, very in the Martian, other planetary mold of that period, which I like. And charts. There's charts back there. There's wonderful, wonderful location charts, adventure. Roll to come up with adventures, monsters, and it just, for 125 pages, this thing really packs it in. And I really like it. So I'm advising you guys to try it. I'm dying to try it. Even more so than Astonishing Swordsman. So it's Warriors of the Red Planet. You can find it at Lulu or Drive-Thru RPG. I would recommend doing it through Drive-Thru or RPG Now, because Lulu, you can get, if you want a print copy. I mean, if you want a print copy, it's $15 through Lulu. But if you go over to RPG Now, that same $15 will get you both a print and PDF package. So I would recommend that. So once again, Warriors of the Red Planet, my recommendation, and we'll have more next time. I'll see you.